Welcome to another conversation in People in Fundraising. This podcast features interviews with nonprofit professionals who discuss their career journeys, lessons learned, and enthusiasm for working in fundraising. And here's your host, the founder of People in Fundraising, Tim Wilson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode in Season 3 of the People in Fundraising Nonprofit Conversations series. And today is October 30th, 2023. It's 9 o'clock here in Utah, and my guest, Goodwell Banda, is joining us at 5 p.m. his time in Malawi. So good afternoon, Goodwell.
Good afternoon, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. Indeed, my name is Goodwell Banda, and I'm joining from Malawi.
Wonderful.
In Southern Africa. Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you for making the time today, Goodwell.
Mm-hmm.
And Goodwell and I got connected through a guest in Season 1, Marci Romney, who is a director at CoAfrica. And so, Goodwell, I would love to have you start by talking about your career in Malawi in nonprofit work, and if there are connections between what you do and CoAfrica or other nonprofits in this country in Southeastern Africa, please.
Thank you very much. My career in not-for-profit organizations started way back. I worked with an organization called Malawi Agroforestry Extension Project, and that was way back in 1995.
Oh, wow.
And so we were working with communities throughout Malawi, providing inputs. These were tree seeds, polythene tubes for them to plant the tree seeds in there. And we were funded by USAID. USAID, that's United States, of America aid in Malawi. So since then, I have been working with not-for-profit. Of course, I had a break somewhere in the middle because I had to go to school. But immediately I finished, I came back and rejoined Malawi Agroforestry Extension Program for about 5 years. And then later, I also joined School of Agriculture for Family Independence, which is SAFI, where I am now. And that was in 2013. I have been there 10 years now as director of that program here in Malawi. So I have been in that for quite a number of years, working with such organizations.
That is terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you mentioned USAID. What is the nonprofit climate like in Malawi? Does the government provide funding as well at the federal or local levels for nonprofits?
Well, it depends. It varies. In some cases, it will just be funding from a donor. In some other cases, it's like a partnership. Government, pours in its money as well as the donor, and so we have organizations that work that way. And but for me, I think the only organization that I worked for and had a government hand in it was the Malawi Agroforestry Project, because we were coming from a background of agriculture research, and so government had a stake in the sense that they really wanted to see what was had been researched on to make sure it how it gets to the ground, to the users of certain technologies. So because of that, government had to come in, and USAID had also to come in. So we worked with both.
Oh, okay.
But for School of Agriculture for Family Independence, we get funding 100% of it from the donors. And this is particularly we get it from New Skin
Okay.
in Provo. Yeah,
Oh, dynamite.
yeah.
And how did you get connected with Marci Romney, a previous guest?
How I got connected with Marci Romney, I was actually connected by my boss at New Skin.
Oh,
And she happens to be, I think, on the board of CoAfrica, and this is Heather. So Heather recommended that if you would like to go and build classrooms in Malawi, don't go any further than Goodwell. Goodwell is going to make sure you succeed in
yeah.
Malawi. So Stan Wilson came with some 2 or 3 other guys from Provo, and we met up here in Malawi. They asked me a few questions, and I told them about my experience, that I'm one person that has worked with a number of organizations, and also that I was willing to work as a volunteer, and also that I had the experience that they were looking for, because I apparently happened to have my own school that my wife and I, built, and we are running it. Our daughter is running it right now.
Wow.
So because of that experience, I think Stan took it that I should be the right person to work with. And I think it was not a mistake. And that's how I found myself working with CoAfrica here in Malawi.
That's awesome. That's a good story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodwell, as I typically do with guests, I do a little bit of research
Okay.
on them online, their biography or their company website. And so in preparation for our conversation, I found your company's website, the School of Agriculture for Family Independence. And on there, your biography mentions growing up in certain tough economic circumstances. And I just wonder, did your upbringing influence your desire to give back to your community? And if so, if you can just talk about that, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was born and brought up in a village. It's about 70 kilometers away from the capital city. And growing up in that village, it was not easy. Both my father and mother, agrarian farmers. They are just subsistence, farmers, hand to mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I happened to be firstborn in a family of 12.
Wow.
We were born on average a year and a half apart.
Oh, okay.
Because and so you can see that for a long time, my mother was, half of the time pregnant, expecting one of us.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, by the grace of God, both my parents are still alive. But it was not easy to raise up so many of us in a family that was not food secure, in a family that finances were hard to come by. Although I was born and brought up in such a poor family, my parents were very supportive, especially in the area of education,
Mm,
because they used to say the only way out of this situation, out of poverty, is for you to go to school.
yeah.
So they made sure I had all the necessary, school supplies, at least to be able to. Of course, not everything. I remember I put on my first pair of shoes when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And that
Wow.
was the time I was going to secondary school.
Oh,
If it
okay.
were not for secondary school, I don't know at what age I would have, uh, put on my first pair of shoes. So
Wow.
growing up was not easy. But then as I was growing up, one thing kept on coming to me to say, if I have been able to make it in life,
Mm,
or I'm making it in life, what is it that can stop anybody from making it?
mm,
I then concluded that we all have a chance to make it in life. Probably what we lack is support.
yeah.
And if what we lack is support, I think life is about making sure support is there for others to make it the way
Mm,
I made it.
yeah.
And my philosophy of life is that life is not about me. Life is about others. I
Mm,
think my success will be measured by how much support I have provided, and how much the support I have given has made others succeed in life. And
yes.
so, because of that, I was impacted by the situation I was in, to the extent that when I was asked to work as a volunteer here in Malawi, I had no choice but to say I take it up and I'll
Uh,
be able to do it. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy today because in the process, through the finances that CoAfrica has been raising for us to build schools in Malawi, we have been able to put up projects, and now we are on project number 9.
wow.
We
Wow.
have successfully completed 8 projects. We are
Yes.
working on the 9th project. Why? Because I have teamed up with like-minded people, and these are CoAfrica, who would like to make a difference, provide support, provide teaching and learning environment for our poor people here, poor children, so they can too, go to school and become like me later
Yes.
after they succeed in their education. So that's the motivation that I have. Um, I think for me, I have given myself to people. I want to be of help to people.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And you mentioned Goodwell, these 9 projects, 8 of the schools have been completed. Um, do you go to the schools and tell your own story, just like you shared a bit of it with me? Do you talk to these children about the path upward
I
with education?
yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. Of course, I've not been to each and every school,
Mm,
but where possible, if there is an opportunity, let's say we are handing over a project,
mm,
I make sure I say something about how I made it to where I
yeah.
am.
Yes.
So that in the process, the kids can be impacted to say, so it's possible.
Yes.
We too can make it. If Goodwell made it, why not them?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So yeah, I go back to them and talk to them about it. Just this afternoon, I
Mm,
was out to where we are building the 9th project, to see how the progress is going on. And I was talking to a class that was meeting outside under a tree. So I was telling them, this is the last time you are learning from under the tree, because very soon we are going to complete this project, and you are all going to move and be in use those classrooms. And if I made it when I was learning under the trees, what about you, who will be learning in these proper classrooms? You should make it very easy. And so they all laughed, and
That is
yeah. So
beautiful.
to answer your question, I do. I go there quite often. Yeah.
That is so inspiring. I love that
Mm,
story. Very
thank you.
cool. Did you
Yeah.
have, as the oldest child, Goodwell,
Mhm, mhm.
were there family or cultural expectations for you that maybe your younger siblings didn't have?
Okay. Well, the family expectations uh, and cultural expectations when you are first born are that you should grow up as a model.
Mm, yeah,
Someone your siblings can look up to.
yeah.
Someone who should be exemplary in everything that you do. So the expectation was that I should be not just be a model, but go beyond and even support my father raising up my fellow siblings to become uh, even better than me where
Mm,
possible. And it has happened, because as firstborn, um, I remember after I got a job, I was able to pay school fees for my next brother that came
oh,
after me.
wow.
His final semester. I was responsible for that. I paid that school fees
Wow.
to demonstrate that as firstborn, this is what is expected of me.
Mm,
And not only that, so that also has been passed on to every brother, every sister, and so on and so forth that came after me.
yeah.
And beyond the family, culturally, it is expected that as a community, I am supposed to lead in the development work, for example. I'm
Oh,
supposed to be an example to as many people as possible. And
wow.
if I have anything that I can spare to support even members or children from other families in the community, I should also be able to do that.
Mm,
So that's what our culture, promotes.
mm. Very
Mm,
interesting. I like that. Thank you. Um,
yeah.
Goodwell, you talked a bit just now about the importance of education. And
Mhm,
if I have my facts correct, you are in
mhm.
a PhD program. Is that
Yes.
so? And tell us about that, please, and what you
Okay.
hope to do
Yeah,
with that.
I am in the PhD program at Mzuzu University in the North Malawi.
Hmm.
It's just that I have not been very steadfast into it. I have not been moving a lot
Hmm.
because of my busy schedule.
Yeah.
Especially here at the office where I'm working as country director, a lot of things to do. So I have kind of slowed down.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I'm in there. I hope to make progress the coming year.
Hmm.
If all goes well, we'll see. Yeah, because we were transitioning as the School of Agriculture for Family Independence.
Hmm.
So the requirement was that I had to put in place so many things to make sure the project runs smoothly
Hmm.
from 2021 going forward.
Oh.
So actually from last year going forward. So my first 2-year contract ends this coming December. And then I'll start another 2-year contract. And by the time I'll be starting the next one, I'll have completed most of the things that were, keeping me busy. But I think of importance, PhD or no PhD, I'm geared to be of help to others. I think whether I get it or I don't get it, one thing I'm sure about is that I'll make sure I make a difference in life, in the lives of the vulnerable, the disadvantaged, the poor, the children, women, and whosoever will find themselves in my path. I'll make sure I impact them accordingly. Those that require to go to school, they should go to school. Those that require to improve in their farming skills, I also impact them, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
That is so inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. And your PhD is in transformative and community development.
Community development, yes.
Yeah. So I imagine that will have great impact with the School of Agriculture and the work you do. Yeah. So tell us, Goodwell, about your work with the School of Agriculture as the country director, please.
Okay, so as country director of School of Agriculture for Family Independence, my job is to develop, present, and implement the strategic vision and the overall goals of the organization. We want to make sure the families that we are working with become self-reliant in terms of food as well as income. It's a tall order in Malawi, but that's what we would like, to see. So my job, make sure we achieve that vision among our smallholder farmers. I also oversee the implementation of all programs, ensuring SAFI is meeting all the key targets that we have. For example, one assignment I was given at the beginning of my 2-year contract was that we should move from helping 2,000 households. By the end of 2 years, we should start talking about more than 10,000. I'm glad to report that now we are working with 14,000 households.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's awesome. So I am into that. And I also am responsible for disseminating project success to policy makers, our stakeholders, our partners, as well as our donors.
So amazing.
And I also work with the head of programs to ensure all programs are effectively monitored and evaluation is done accordingly, so we can demonstrate our success, impact, and value for money.
Wow, that is great.
Yes. So, and then I prepare reports for presentation at the board and also our donors. That's New Skin and Force for Good. And I build and manage strategic alliances and partnerships with different partners. And then we ensure a culture of accountability, transparency, and adherence to all, policies. So in a nutshell, I would say I am the face of SAFI here in Malawi. And in this case, the face of CoAfrica in Malawi. Yes. So that's basically what I do as country director for School of Agriculture for Family Independence.
Yes, that is a lot of work. It's amazing.
It is. Yes.
And is SAFI in the capital, or is it outside, more in the agrarian? Where's it located?
Okay, so as our headquarter office, we are located right in the capital,
Oh, okay.
in Lilongwe, yeah? But we have a campus about 100 kilometers in the Doha district. And then we have our impact areas in 7 districts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we are quite all over. We work in partnership, in some projects, work in partnership with the German Aid organization.
Okay.
In another, we work with an organization that we call Feed the Children. We work with them. Yeah, and right now we are in the process of making another partnership with Mount Moriah,
Oh,
another NGO, and I mean another donor. I think in the States. I'm yet to understand more about them, but we are in the process of, making that partnership possible. So yeah.
wow. That's
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all of
Mhm.
this. Um,
Thank you.
if you were to look ahead into the future, Goodwell, you've gone from
Mhm.
supporting 2,000 families, now
But
14,000. Where do you hope
mhm.
SAFI would have the greatest impact in your career?
Yeah, I think the greatest impact will be on the aspect of independence.
Okay. Yeah.
Independence for family food and independence for family income, so
Yeah.
that families are able to send their kids to school.
Mm.
They should have resources enough to support their children to go to school. The way my poor father did. I
Yes.
want to see them do it.
Yes. Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I want to see families having or eating what they and produce what they would like to eat.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience about SAFI or its operations?
Well, maybe not much about SAFI, but let me talk about CoAfrica
Sure.
and the support that we are receiving here in Malawi. I have seen the impact that has been made on the 8 projects that we have completed.
Mm.
And I have just submitted 17 schools that are in dire need for projects like
Mm.
the ones we have accomplished in the 8 sites.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what CoAfrica is doing, it's like students were learning under a tree this month.
Yes.
Come 3 months down the line, they are in a proper classroom.
Yeah.
That makes the whole difference in the life of the kids.
Certainly.
Yeah, and if many of you people, our viewers, if you can choose to make a difference in some way possible and try to contribute towards, even if it means a classroom, put up a classroom, even if it means asking us to name that classroom after your name, we'll
Yeah.
be happy to do it because we know the difference that classrooms make in the lives of the learners.
Oh,
So we have
absolutely.
17 schools that are up for grabs in terms of support. Please support us. As for
Yes.
me, I have given my whole self to make sure whatever little funds will come our way, we use those funds, accordingly, without losing a penny of that money, making sure all of that money goes into the classrooms that we aspire to have. So I think that's what I can say. And let me thank each one of those people in advance for the support they are willing to give. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, Goodwell. Thank you for that acknowledgement and talking about the need for support for the CoAfrica schools. Such a worthwhile cause, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for being on the program.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And thank you for thinking about me to be on the program as well.
My pleasure. It was great to connect with you. And
thank you, Tim.
Goodwell, your interview will go live in January of 2024. And I would just be so excited to share your comments. So thank you again.
That would be great. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for a terrific conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
And I hope to stay in touch with you and see how SAFI and CoAfrica are going.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be happy to give you as much information as possible.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Goodwell.
You're welcome.
And thank you to our audience for listening in on this conversation. Talk to you soon, Goodwell.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.